If you're interested in litter training your rabbit and would like to know more about the different types of litter boxes that are available and some tips and tricks for litter training, then this is the video for you, so stick around. What's up everybody, I'm Diane from Hollands, bringing you rabbit info and bunnertainment since 2015, and litter training is the topic of today's video. I have a lot to go over. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can, but still give you the information that you need to make your decision and to help you learn how to litter train your bunny. First off, the litter boxes. There are two main styles of litter boxes that you'll find for rabbits. You'll find the kind that has the mesh grate on top so that your bunny sits away from the poop and the pee. And then you have the kind that's usually a larger cat litter box style tub, and you put the hay in it and your bunny will sit on the poop and the pee and soiled hay. So there are pros and cons of each, and there aren't a lot of options available specifically for rabbits. I have combed Amazon and online, and I think I have found some pretty good options, and I'm going to share those with you here. We're going to look at 4 different litter boxes today. We have the large rectangular one with the grate, the corner litter pan with the grate, a small rectangular version that also has the grate, and then the large tub style, kind of like a cat litter box with no grate. This isn't specifically a litter box. This is a tub trug, which the brand is now known as Red Gorilla. It is their 4-gallon shallow tub. And you can use this for a lot of different purposes. I didn't specifically buy it for litter box training initially, but I have found that it works really well in the exercise pen area, especially because my bunnies are not spayed and neutered. So when I put them in the exercise pen, they smell the other bunnies and they're tempted to pee and poop everywhere. But with a large tub like this, I can put a bunch of hay in, and that entices them to go in there and eat the hay, and they often pee and poop there at the same time. This is also good if you have an area where you want to keep the hay kind of contained from the rest of your house, and you don't mind that there's no grate in the bottom. You can put a type of litter to help absorb the urine down in the bottom, and I'll go over those types later. Or you can just put enough hay so that when the bunny is in there and they poop and pee, it kind of goes to the bottom and then there is still clean hay on top. This one is about 15 inches in diameter and about 6 1/4 inches tall. There are a lot of different styles of the open tub litter boxes that you can find. Anywhere from a cheap cat litter box to a heavy-duty bucket or tub with somewhat of a shallow entrance so the bunny can still hop over. So lots of different options. This one I got directly from the company's website, which I will put the link below. I'm not sure that Amazon tends to have these in stock anymore. I do like that these come in a lot of different colors and they don't crack. They're really durable. The bunnies will nibble on them, but they don't completely destroy it. At least mine haven't. There are a few different sellers on Amazon who offer this particular litter box or something similar. They look pretty much identical. I purchased this from Ruby Home on Amazon for around $17, and I think it's funny they call it the square toilet because it's not square. It's about 11 1/2 inches long, right around 9 inches wide. The back is about 6 1/4 inches tall. The lip that the rabbit would have to hop over is only about 2 1/2 inches. I actually purchased this for a bunny of mine who was having surgery, and sadly I lost him and he no longer needs this, which is one reason why I'm going to be sending it back, but also it did arrive with a crack in the plastic here, so that's another reason I'm going to be sending it back. It makes me question the durability of this box. It's a very thick plastic that doesn't feel like it has a lot of flexibility. I think that if you're careful with it and you're not dropping it, that it will be fine. You just have to make sure that you inspect it when it arrives. I will say the nice thing about this litter box is the grate locks in. There are channels in the back and the side, and then a tab in the front. So even if you have a rabbit that is causing a little bit of trouble digging and trying to pull the grate up, this one will not allow that grate to be pulled up. I really don't think a bunny could do that. It is a wire grate, and that has never been a problem for my bunnies. Your bunny is in here for such a short time, and if they are in an environment where they have a solid floor, they're not on a wire cage floor all day, the little bit of time they spend in here on the wire grate is not going to be problematic in almost all cases. And the trade-off is, yes, they're on this for a little bit, but they're not sitting in their poop and pee. So I don't know which is the greater evil, the wire or being soiled. Personally, I'd rather my rabbits stay clean and not be full of poop and pee than to worry about the little bit of time they spend on here. I also like how this litter box comes with these clips so that you can sandwich your wire enclosure in between these, and then the litter box can lift easily off for cleaning, and then you can put it right back again. So it holds it in place. So not only is the rabbit going to have a hard time getting the wire grate up, but they really can't move this litter box around, and it's not a heavy litter box. So that is nice. Other than the question of durability, my only other caution is that this is probably best sized for right around 3-pound rabbit or smaller. It really depends on how your rabbit likes to poop and pee. If they put their butt back here, they'll be fine. But if they're going to be eating hay back here and have their bottom back here, then you could have some spillage over the side. So this is not going to be ideal for the 5-pound or larger bunny. This here is the coveted Ware Jumbo Scatterless Lock and Litter Pan. I have used these for the past several years now. Well, I haven't used them, but my bunnies have, and I really like them. Like the litter box we just looked at, they have the clips to hold the litter box securely on the wire enclosure. If you don't have a wire enclosure or exercise pen, then that really won't matter to you. It has the grate in it, like this, and it's wired just like the other one. It's roughly 12 inches wide on each side and around 16 inches long across the front. The front lip height is about 3.5 inches, so it's taller than the smaller rectangular box. But my bunnies don't have any problem with it, and the back goes up about 8 inches. This litter box has been great for my Holland Lops, and they range from 3 pounds up to 5 or 6 pounds. And I think this litter box could be suitable for even larger bunnies than that. It, again, really depends on how your bunny sits in there and goes to the bathroom. Back in the corner is no problem, but if they put their butt out either side, front corner here, sometimes it might splash over a little bit. And occasionally I'll have that problem where my rabbits will try to pee right here and some of it will spill over, but that does not happen very often. Now, you do need to remember that this company, Ware, sells 2 different sizes of this currently. There's a smaller size, and then this is the jumbo. Don't get the small size, it's a waste of money, and your baby bunny will grow up and need the larger size. So get the jumbo. They also sell the version without the grate. So if you want the grate, make sure you buy the version with the grate. The only other issue that some people have with this is the grate does not lock down. So if your bunny is digging in here, sometimes the grate can become askew, or some bunnies will even pull the grate out. I rarely have any issues with this, but it really depends on how feisty your bunny is, how much of a troublemaker your rabbit is. You can get this from Amazon. They used to be about $15, but in the past year they've shot up to right around $25 if you can find them in stock. Chewy.com also sometimes has this litter box. There are some pet stores, I think PetSmart and maybe Petco, and there might be some others who have their own version of this, may or may not have the grate. So this is a good middle ground litter box, and like I said, been very happy with these for 5 years. Haven't had any problem with them. Finally, this is the cream of the crop in my opinion, and this is one that I only discovered because I was looking for a very low entry litter box for my rabbit Timmy after his surgery, and sadly he didn't get to use it, but I think this really would be perfect in instances like that. And even if your rabbit doesn't have issue with how high they can hop, this litter box, although expensive, it's right around $52, I think is what I paid for it, which is a lot for a piece of plastic. I realize that, but in my opinion, if you only have to buy one or two of these, make the investment. It's a really nice, large litter box with a grate. That front lip is about 2¼ inches tall, so it's very low entry. Now, the trade-off is it wouldn't hold as much litter and hay and waste down below. You have 1½ inches before it hits the bottom of this plastic grate. This is about 17 inches long, right around 13 inches wide, and about 7 inches tall in the back and the sides. This feels that it is made of very high quality plastic. There is some flexibility to it, so I think it would have greater durability than the smaller rectangular litter box that we looked at previously. Now, although there are not deep channels to lock this grate in, it does have a little lock, a little tiny lip on the front that will help to keep it down. It's possible that a rabbit could pull the grate up out of this one, but it's so large and they would be sitting on it that I don't think that is going to be a likely scenario. Another nice thing is this is a plastic grate. The other two have metal grates. This one is plastic. It's nice and wide, and I think it would be very comfortable on their feet. It could get a little bit messy to clean if there's urine down in here, but a scrub brush, a hose, put it in your utility sink, I think is very doable and a good trade-off for having a really large litter box. I really can't think of any rabbit other than maybe a Flemish giant or some other giant breed that would have trouble fitting in this litter box. I think you could fit 2 bunnies, maybe even 3 bunnies. It's so generously sized. You could put the hay anywhere in here. The rabbit would have room to sit in here and eat, and their butt should be completely in the litter box. So that is very nice. Even though this litter box is fairly heavy at 2 pounds, 2 ounces, I wish it had some sort of way to clip onto an enclosure. But as big as it is, I don't think a rabbit would easily flip it. It might just get moved around a little bit, and I really don't see that as a problem. It's well worth the cost in my opinion, especially because there aren't a lot of other litter boxes like this with the nice plastic grate and the generous size. There was one other one I saw on Amazon that had a drawer down below where you would pull the waste out of the drawer, and I'm telling you that is going to be a mess because you're going to have poop stuck to the grate and you're going to be pulling the drawer out and the poop's going to fall down into the bottom of the litter box, and it's just more nooks and crannies for the waste to go in my opinion. I think this one is the much better option of that design. This is Camilla. She is just under 4 pounds, and we're going to see how she fits in each of these litter boxes with the grates. Now, if she were to sit in this box with her butt in the back, I think it could work. But otherwise, she is a little bit too thick for this litter box. Sorry, Cammy. Now, the Wear litter box, which she has been using for years, she puts her butt in the corner, and even if she pees with it to the side, it usually is contained in the box. And that's what a 4-pound rabbit looks like in the large rectangular litter box. Plenty of room to throw a party in there. Huh, Cammy? So you've got your litter box. Now what do? Let's talk litter training tips for rabbits. Some people express concern that they got an older rabbit, it's not litter trained, and they think it's too late. But it's not. In most cases, it's actually easier to train an adult rabbit to use a litter box than a baby. Tip number 1, make sure to put your litter box where your rabbit is peeing. Don't worry so much about the poop. Go for where they're peeing because that's the most difficult to clean up. Poop, you can vacuum up, you can sweep up, but the pee you want in the litter box, and so start with that. Chances are, if you don't have litter boxes already, your rabbit has a preferred, most likely a corner in their enclosure. So start by putting the litter box in that corner. If there's more than one corner, either pick the corner that they use most frequently or use more than one litter box. Don't put the litter box in the middle of the area because most often that is not where rabbits are going. So if you're not sure where to put it, pick a corner and then adjust as needed. Tip number 2, put your rabbit's hay in or above the litter box because they often are eating the same time they're pooping and peeing. It's really efficient, don't you think? I tried that once and it didn't work out so well, but I wasn't sitting in my litter box either. If you want a way to hang your hay above the litter box, you can either get hay racks if you have a wire enclosure that they can hang on, or some people like to find cheap plastic containers, cut out part of the lid for the front so that the rabbit can pull the hay out and find some way to attach it to whatever wall the litter box is against. Now, once your rabbit is litter trained, you might not need to put the hay in the litter box anymore. Now, my rabbits, they're not spayed or neutered, but I don't need to put the hay in the litter box anymore. I usually just dump it on the floor of their enclosure because that's where it ends up anyhow. Or sometimes I'll get a little cardboard box and put it in there. But when you are starting, that is a really good tip to help your bunny use the litter box. This is especially helpful for training baby rabbits to use the litter box. Tip number 3, wipe up any accidents and put them in the litter box. You can tear off a piece of a paper towel or a tissue, just enough to absorb the urine. And then take that and put it in the litter box, ideally under the grate if you have one. This allows your rabbit to smell his or her urine and to associate your litter box with where they should go to the bathroom. Now you can also pick up the poo balls and put those in the litter box, but unless your bunny is spayed or neutered, that's going to be an endless task because they will be having poo balls marking their territory everywhere. I know that might sound gross, but most rabbit poop is really dry and it doesn't smell. Think if you're making a green smoothie and then you would allow it to dehydrate so all the liquid's gone and you roll it into a ball, that's kind of what it looks like. It's mostly hay, grass, whatever's in their pellet. So it's not that bad. Now the stinky poop, the secretropes, sometimes those are smashed around the floor and you will want to clean those up. But most of the time rabbits will eat their secretropes. I know it's gross, but they get probiotic benefits for their digestion. Tip number 4, don't clean the litter box thoroughly until your rabbit is litter trained. You want to leave some of that smell so that it lingers in there. I know it sounds gross. So start with maybe cleaning half of the soiled litter out of the litter box. And then slowly increase it until you're cleaning the litter box and scrubbing it every 1 to 2 days. Now, the size of your litter box, the number of litter boxes that you have will determine how often you have to clean them. Tip number 5, put a light layer of absorbent litter in the bottom of your rabbit's litter box. There are several different types you can use. There is Yesterday's News, which is a compressed recycled newspaper. There is Carefresh, which is a shredded cardboard. You can use newspaper. You can even use absorbent fabric that you want to wash. Now, I like to use compressed pine pellets because we get those in, I think, 40-pound bags from Tractor Supply or Rural King, and they're maybe $8 a bag, something like that. Now, the issue with the wood pellets, unless you have like an aspen pellet that's pretty benign, the pine pellets, there might even be a cedar pellet, I'm not sure, but they can have oils that would irritate your bunny. So if you're using the litter box style that does not have the grate, I wouldn't use the wood pellets. Unless it's an aspen pellet or some other benign wood, I would try the Yesterday's News or the Carefresh Naturals instead. But if you have a grate and your bunny is up off of that litter, a light coating of any of those would work. And you just want a light coating. If you see your bunny is just peeing in one corner of the litter box, just put a little in that area of the litter box. It will save you money. It'll save you from having to throw away or compost all that unused litter. And speaking of composting, you can put your rabbit's poop and pee, all the stuff from the litter box, right on your garden. Also, it's important to note that you don't want to sprinkle bedding or litter all over your rabbit's enclosure, just in the litter box, because you don't want your rabbit to be confused. So the litter, bedding, whatever you want to call it, put it in the litter box. Light coating. Tip number 6, keeping the odor down. And believe it or not, that starts with feeding your rabbit a good quality pellet. I feed my rabbits Sherwood brand pellets, and they contain no soy, they don't have cheap fillers, they don't have sweeteners, and they even have a new formula that is just Timothy hay. It doesn't have the alfalfa hay in it. It has added vitamins and minerals too, but alfalfa along with soy and the fillers, wheat, the sweeteners, all of that can cause your rabbit to ferment and digest it poorly, and then you'll have all that stinky stuff coming out in their poop and their pee. And it really does make a difference to use a quality food like that in the smell. If you clean your rabbit's litter box every day or every other day, you're going to have very minimal smell if you use a quality pellet. If you want to know more about the food that I use and recommend, I will put the link down below to the bunny care page on my website. Tip number 7, be flexible and adapt as your bunny's litter habits change. You might need to start out with several litter boxes and then can consolidate to 1 or 2 litter boxes. Your bunny might be using a litter box just fine, and then one day they want to pee somewhere else, so you might have to change the location of your litter box. For example, with Sonny Jim, he had 2 litter boxes and he mostly used the one on his lower level, and then one day he just started peeing in another corner. I don't know why. So after several days of wiping up the urine, I decided I'm just going to move his litter box. And once I moved his litter box to the other corner, he's been using it ever since. And he actually doesn't even use the one on his upper level, and I probably can remove that. I did remove a litter box in Moose's cage. He had 2, and he just seemed to be using the one. And once I removed the second one, he was fine. Then there are some bunnies like Hazel that just need 1 litter box, and they're very good about it. And these are not spayed or neutered bunnies. So it's impressive that they will pee at least in the litter box, and most of the poop is in there too. And you're just going to have to clean up some rogue poo balls every day. Number 8, and one of the most important litter training tips for rabbits, is to spay or neuter your bunny. This is usually done when the rabbit is at least 5 or 6 months of age, and find a rabbit-savvy veterinarian that performs surgery on rabbits frequently. That's the best you can do. Now, I know firsthand how risky surgery can be for a rabbit. It's usually the anesthesia that's the problem. My rabbit Timmy was neutered and had a hernia surgery. That went fine, and then it was 3 weeks later he had to have a repeat hernia surgery, and he didn't make it through the anesthesia. But in most cases, rabbits really do fine, and there are certainly some exceptions, so it's a decision you shouldn't take lightly. But if you have a pet rabbit and you want it to bond with your family and you want to reduce the negative hormonal behaviors like pooping everywhere and peeing everywhere to claim territory, the digging, scratching, sometimes even can be lunging or growling, even biting in some cases. And then there's the mounting. Do you like your foot mounted? Yeah, that can happen. And especially if you have more than 1 rabbit, and even if you think they're the same gender, they might not be. Benefits of having a more mellow bunny, more complete litter training with spaying and neutering are massive. And I really recommend that if you want to bond with your bunny and have a bunny that you can trust in your house. Now, you'll still have some poo balls, and you still have to toddler-proof your house because they like to chew wires. Now, you can try packing tape on your baseboards and on your furniture and furniture legs, because that tends to discourage them chewing because they don't like the feel of the packing tape. Spaying and neutering won't fix all of the negative behaviors, but it really helps with litter training and helping them to become more calm and mellow and not preoccupied with finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I hope this video has given you some good ideas for litter box options and how to train your rabbit to use that potty. If you have any other suggestions and advice, things that have worked for your rabbit for litter training, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. And don't forget to check the subscribe button and see if you're actually subscribed, because you wouldn't want to miss out on one of these fantastic videos, right? Shoot, what number am I on? I think 4. I think we're on tip number 4. Reverse it back to tip number 5. Oh my gosh, I had to turn the air conditioning off so you could hear me, and it's so hot in here now. Whee! Oh gosh.